Game has begun, ladies and gentlemen, with Meta attacking with Popcorn, Frisbee, Flame, Will, Waterboy, and Zyos. Defending is Legion with Jimmy Tryhard, Renatus, Boomstick, Height of Absurdity, Chrysomatic, and Sody Pop. And the game has begun. And immediately, what you want to see from the defending team is exactly what Legion is doing. They're coming as fast as possible into the line of battle and just immediately taking the Masons away from the cart and trying to get a nice clean wipe in the beginning, which it seems to be what they're doing relatively well, actually, despite most of them losing a lot of their health. Oh, wow, Waterboy with the double is actually going to stop this push, and they're going to keep the cart moving. That was very, very nice. Yeah. It looks like Legion made a bit of a mistake by leaving Waterboy alone. They started like looking at that cart hungrily, and they wanted to really stop it. And Waterboy took advantage of that.
I think with the three of them being so close to death, they really should have stayed on Waterboy. Even if, I mean, it may have increased the risk of like him tripling, but it would have shut him down a little bit better with that bill hook, and just couldn't swipe through and take them all out. You know, and they really need to be, managing his ability to move around and do that. The more people on him, the easier to do.
Exactly. With the bill hook of all weapons, it's insane range, and it's not that insane, but you know, for a weapon that deals that much damage and is that kind of speed, very, very good. Obviously, against a man-at-arms is not going to work out, especially of one the caliber of Jimmy Tryhard, who was the last surviving member of Legion. Their team is now coming back for a counterattack, and the cart was stopped. We're at 8 minutes.
It's a really good place for the cart to be stopped at for defense. You know, they can push up. They've got control of this ammo box for the time being. If they can maintain control, I mean, they can just hold them at spawn and chip off time. And it's probably, in this part of the map, the best place for defense, you know, for that cart to be right there.
Is right there. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And we talked in the last episode about how valuable that ammo box is to use as a sort of base of operations, quote unquote, even though you're only going to stand around it for a couple seconds. It's a very good place to take control of because everyone's got projectiles. And now the cart has gone beyond the bridge, and beyond the bridge is basically the sticking point of this map. If you can't just steamroll, that is where it's going to stay for a while most of the time. We're at 7 minutes, so I'm going to predict Meta is probably going to get this first objective given their progress, but I think they're only going to do it with 2 or 3 minutes left.
I probably agree with you on that. Although right now they've got a very good opportunity to push it uncontested here if they can take care of this man-at-arms.
Ooh, but Chryso... Oh, man!
Oh!
Did you see that? You saw that ghost hit with the the overhead? That was glorious. Cart is stopped. Chrysomatic Sacrifice was not in vain. It's a very good play. As a man-at-arms, you have a lot of potential for disruption if you're the only one there, especially if your enemies don't have much health, because you can just poke, get those last hit kills. It's very, very useful.
The harassment style of man-at-arms plays, it's incredibly effective just to kind of be that annoying little gnat that swoops around and, you know, stabs you once and stabs somebody else and just keeps on going. So it's, you know, that type of gameplay, not only is it effective, it can wear on morale quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. It's just absolutely annoying. It's probably one of the most annoying things. It's probably the reason Man-at-Arms is considered one of the most overpowered classes right now, is because they have so much power and versatility on the battlefield if they're played correctly.
Absolutely.
But it would seem that Meta is kind of breaking through our expectations. They are having some really good offensive pushes, and they're moving this cart. But Legion is really quick to defend. I like that. Their responses are really, really fast. This first objective as defense, it's actually, I would say it's perfectly fine to just go ahead and rush as fast as you can into the cart, no matter the circumstance, because in the first objective, there's generally a really short distance between the spawns and the cart. So you can usually get to it as the defender relatively fast, and you can just stall them. Even if you're the only one there, you can stall them. As it is, though, it seems that Legion might have overextended themselves. They lose a couple near the Mason spawn, but they are going to... I believe they should get a spawn before the Masons get to the cart. Yup. And it actually looks like Legion is going to get to sandwich Meta in between their forces. Hopefully. It looks like Meta is going to get this cart a very good distance near the door. Not going to go in just yet, however. 4 minutes 25 seconds on the clock. However, there are more Meta members left. Oh, that was actually a very poor engagement by Legion, and they're going to get this card in right now, Meta. Very, very nice.
14:04 left.
Very good time. Yeah, they kind of broke through our expectations. They were really solid on the offense.
Very good.
Did you notice that final engagement near the trees next to the door?
I believe so, yeah.
Like,
or maybe I was pushed up a little too far.
That could have definitely gone Legion's way had they just done a little more communication, I think. I don't know what their comms were like, but it looked like the two of them were kind of having trouble picking targets, and it was a 2v3, so that was really valuable in that situation.
Yeah.
But, you know, with two people, you can only do so much, I suppose.
It looked to me as though maybe the Brainy Stock Vanguard was just trying to play goalie and should have actually been a little bit more forwardly engaged. But those are the breaks.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, with two people again. You know, how much communication
what can you do?
Done? Yeah. However, right here, we're seeing this is pretty much a clusterfuck. It was a clusterfuck in the beginning, and then everyone just started grouping up. And Legion comes out on top with 5 people. Very, very nice. That just that goes to credit their individual skill, definitely.
Absolutely. This particular part of the map is I've known Legion to hello.
Go on.
I've known Legion to hold this objective like right here in this particular area. They're very good at managing choke points and cutting off avenues of entry. And so I think this is where they can... Oh, maybe not. We actually have a flank.
Yeah, Meta is moving the cart ever so slowly, but not for long. However, those couple feet, that matters. You know,
that
12
actually
minutes.
matters. We really got them past that little choke point between the rock and the cliff on the right side.
That's dangerous for attackers.
Absolutely.
That is probably one of 2 sticking points on this objective. Again, I like to think there are sticking points on pretty much any objective. However, the fact that this one's really, really long makes it so both the end of the objective, where the cart is really far away from the attacker spawn, as well as when it gets to this narrow choke point, are 2 really difficult spots to get the cart out of.
Yeah.
However, I find pretty much 99% of the time the cart will get out of this choke point. It's not a very hard sticking point. However, it slows it down a lot if the attacking team doesn't have the synergy they need to get it moving.
Okay, so we got actually 2 really interesting team comps that I just noticed. This double all melee on one side.
Holy
and
crap!
Knight, triple Vanguard on the other.
That's insane. Yeah, 3 knights, 3 vans for Meta, and we've got 2 men-at-arms, 2 knights, 2 vans for Legion. This is actually really weird because Legion is defending.
Strange. Yeah.
I feel like they should have more health because they have more stalwart position, but they're making those men-at-arms work. I mean, they're in the top 3, so they're doing something right.
Yeah.
However, the attackers, they look very even across the board. Waterboy, I would probably say, I don't want to insult anyone else on their team, but I think Waterboy is probably the most individually skilled of everyone on that team, especially with the Vanguard. Maybe with Will as a close second, if not a tie. But that's probably the only reason he's on top. Everyone else is relatively even in terms of class stuff, but you can tell on Legion's side that the men-at-arms are doing markedly better than the higher health alternatives because I think they're taking advantage of the lower health opponents.
Yeah. That makes total sense. And I was actually going to say, I mean, I was thinking that just, the the Vanguard's countering the Man-at-Arms on defense. It just, you know, might have tipped the favors in meta side. But I actually think this individual skill of both Jimmy Triard and Chris Omatic as Man-at-Arms, I think it's probably the best choice for them right now, rather than trying to go and match another Knight or another Vanguard.
Absolutely. Yeah. As a corollary to that, like, Jimmy and Chris, I don't know if Chris was on the top 5 community rankings for Man-at-Arms, but I know Jimmy was at least, like, 3rd or something.
I think Chris was. If he wasn't, he should have been.
Yeah, I think he may have been 5th or 4th. I know Jimmy was in the top 3, but they're both absolutely stellar Men-at-Arms. Oh yeah. I like to think I'm one of the better Men-at-Arms duelists in the game, but Jimmy can consistently beat me. And I haven't dueled Chris in a while, but I have no doubt he could give me a run for my money. And really good engagement by Meta there. They were absolutely using their 2v2 skill, their 2v1 skills to the maximum potential. They split off into 2 groups of 2 there, and that was absolutely paramount to them winning those engagements. Like, if you're noticing what they're doing, this is really, really cool. They split off into groups. They don't split off into one person. That's very smart. Like, right now they're trying to split off the Men-at-Arms, which is really working well. Like, they just delayed them a bit, but they're getting the card in. Very effective. And they've still got 4 men alive. And we're at 8 minutes, so this is very, very nice.
This is very good time being made here.
However, Meta had very low health as it was to go into that hole, and I don't think they were counting on getting out of it.
Got a couple people pushing up.
Fire alarm went off for 3 seconds there. What? Oh yeah, Meta. Right. Okay.
I was about to say, it looked like the whole team was about to rush up, which at this point, the carping this close, I would not really recommend a full team. It looks like they are going to do a pretty decent push, and even that's a little bit too far up. I think it's with 6 people, it's very confusing. It's very easy to get flanked, which might be happening right now. Will is.
You can see Will going right off to the right side of Defender. And the rest of Meta is doing really well in their own engagements.
Exactly. That's all it takes is one person to flank and sweep through. Everybody else is just go in and be, intentionally, annoying and just stay in everybody else's way and prevent them from noticing. And is that 3 feet more or less to the cart?
Yeah, very, very close. Oh, he's gonna go down. But the sheer, he got that a very valuable amount of distance.
A lot of times it doesn't matter the distance nearly as much as where you push it to. If it can get it out of a tight spot and it's only 10 feet, that's fine, because that tight spot was keeping you from getting any further than that. So, and that was one of their harder parts. They could have easily made them a choke point out of this place instead of pushing up. They didn't, and they got flanked and made the cart get to a point where now they can just suicide it more or less and reliably get it in.
Definitely. That's a very, very valuable point. The ability to put the cart in a position is sometimes more valuable than actually moving it a certain distance. You're definitely right there, Simon. Most definitely.
Are you streaming right now, Trevor?
I am indeed.
Oops. Hi, Simon. I'm gonna head up now.
Alrighty, friendo.
User left your channel.
I'm not actually quite certain who that was.
Me either.
Okay. Well, that's fine, because Meta is getting this card in. It was already in. It's going through that weird animation for the last 3% or something. And they get it to the sluice with 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, normally you'd want a bit more time than that. But we'll see what happens, because as always with the sluice, it can take 1 push or it can take 10.
And it looks like they've Meta's transitioned back over to triple Knight, double Vanguard with an Archer now. Flames back on archery duties, which I think is a pretty good idea here on this particular part of the map. You know,
Definitely.
having an archer just, you know, sitting back and lobbing shots of wherever he needs to, possibly even with the short bow to just continuously flinch, can make, you know, the attacking job a lot easier. This is about the time in the attacker's objective or attacking run where I would definitely put in a man-at-arms just for that fire pot. It's only one of them, but used properly, it can, you know, take out an entire side. And so this is about the only time on attack that I actually advocate a man-at-arms.
Archer, you mean?
No, I actually mean a man-at-arms. Generally speaking, on attacking, you're on a linear track, so there's really no need for a lot of mobility. You just need brute force. Defense is a totally different story. I would definitely have a man-at-arms on defense, simply because you can, you know, use sweep around flank and you know, all that stuff. You know where the cart's going, for example. You know where to put a fire pot.
Right. That's very interesting. I actually subscribe to the opposite perspective. You make very, very good points, and I totally agree with them. But I'd say that as a defender, you want that extra health pool. Like, I'm all about the big picture and the meta, and if you have a man-at-arms, that's that much less health you have collectively to defend an objective, to defend the cart, defend the doors. As an attacker with a man-at-arms, the man-at-arms is the fastest class. He can dodge. He can get out of tight spots. He's the best flank. So I think it's more. I think it's definitely the difference between big picture, small picture in terms of our ideologies. Both are totally valid.
Absolutely.
I actually hadn't even considered what you said, like about how the cart's on a linear path. You know where to put that fire pot. That makes a lot of sense when you say it. I hadn't even considered that. Like when we're defending, like I'm tempted to go knight because I feel like I'll be less valuable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it really just ultimately comes down to. I mean, when I play Dark Force, it's usually as a man-at-arms still, even on attack, just because I'm more used to it. But generally speaking, it's if I had to choose between, you know, where I'd want the man-at-arms, I'd want him on defense more than offense. Just on this map alone.
That's very interesting. I absolutely agree with your points, actually, though.
Thank you.
Despite having differing ones. Totally valid.
And likewise.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely valid. Like, what you just said, it kind of makes me... It validates when I go man-at-arms on defense on this map.
Yeah.
So it absolutely makes sense. And, yeah, I'm starting to realize now... It's definitely valuable to have those fire pots to just toss on those the turnstile things for the door. If you just toss it on there, you know where the turnstile is. You just toss it on there. Immediate area denial.
Yeah, and quite often, you know, after a huge engagement that has, you know, resulted in a win for attack, just a quick fire pot usually will take out the rest. It looks like we've actually got it right here. Yep,
that we do. 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Very, very good time on the sluice, actually.
Very good time. Not a whole lot to say about the sluice. Honestly, it's one of those objectives where it's just, unless you have a 100% flawless plan, which most people generally can't ever, you know, make happen for a variety of reasons, it's just a lot of luck. And there's, you know...
Yep.
Hope you can get it.
You are actually absolutely correct, because luck-wise, the spawns are a big factor. If you get 5 seconds late on a spawn, your whole team gets cleared, you get 5 seconds later on a spawn, you lose the objective. Just like that. Boom. If you get a 2-second spawn, you're in the game. You get another push. So it is absolutely luck for sluice. That's why it's such a big sticking point most of the time. And a little bit of damage is getting down on C. Just a little bit. However, there's a heated engagement going on with Will. Nope, he's going to go down. Progress is being made on B currently. They're probably going to take that down pretty soon. However, only Zyos is there. Not sure he's going to be able to hold out. That was actually a very, very smart 2v1 with Zyos in it. He made some really good plays in there. He still died, but he stalled a lot. And down goes one of Legion's men-at-arms. That's going to be very valuable for meta. They're going to want to take one of these points. They're going to take... they're going to leave Waterboy to take out A. See what goes on. Oh, and Jimmy goes down.
They can take out their other men-at-arms right here. They'll have a pretty decent chance of... look like it'll happen.
Total backstab. Yep, there you go. Or a back smash. But B is going down. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go down right now. Yep. Will is going to kill all of these Suns. Potentially. No, there are actually 2 Suns remaining. Well, that's interesting. You don't usually see that. That's kind of a loose end that's really weird for attacking teams to deal with. They get cleared off of an objective before it's done.
Yeah.
So, it looks to me like meta is doing a lot of trickling, which they should not be doing on this objective.
Yeah.
That was more okay in the first and second, but this objective is absolutely crucial to have full communication and teamwork, because there's just so many different ways you can take it apart.
One of my favorite, and I can't tell if they're using it here, but one of my favorite methods is the scramble play. If you have enough time, you just you can send out whoever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, more or less. Just do damage, kind of bum rush them right off at the start, and then take the next spawn to kind of reevaluate and see what's left over, where you can make a plan from there. Against this particular composition with Legion, that's probably the worst idea in the world. They've got 2 men-at-arms and then 2 vanguards, so their mobility here is pretty high. They're able to to go wherever they need to go very, very fast. And the combo of Chris and Jimmy right now is it's a little scary. So they're actually, they're top of the scoreboards right now. Having to deal with both of them at the same time is one of them is already a
terrifying.
Yeah.
And that push there just got utterly shut down by Jimmy. If you didn't see it, they were going straight for A, and Jimmy, I think it was another Vanguard on Legion's side. They pretty much took them apart, and it was crazy. Meta needs to make a concerted push, I think, because then the defenders have to move over there, and while they do have the mobility of 2 men-at-arms, to have to deal with an entire team is going to put them off a little bit.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to need to group up. Let's see what they're doing. It looks like they're doing a far left flank from attacker's side. Oh, Height and Chrysomatic just doing work today, but they are going to get torn apart. Jimmy Tryhard taking the waters over an honorable death.
That's what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah. I think Flame is finally going to go clean up B. Good move. And Meta is holding out very, very well right now at A. They don't have a big health pool, but they're doing quite well with their 2v2. And they've got another Knight at full health, and they are going to take A handily. Now,
that was some very good defensive work there. Just, stalling them out long enough to have somebody come in and, potentially either get there afterwards and mop up what's left, or, to help out in the 2v2. It's great defensive work. They're really good.
Most definitely. It looks like a little bit of damage was done to C while we were away. It's going to make it a little easier for the attackers. But with 5 minutes and 30 seconds and the defense that Legion's putting up, I wouldn't be surprised if Meta is brought down to the wire here. If that. Given their really good offensive potential, I'm honestly considering a last-minute win for this round for them. That's my prediction.
I think, yeah. If they, at this point, I'm gonna say that you know, they're now down to just C, and this is really where, you know, Legion can shine and hold up a really solid defense. If I think it's gonna be tough for Meta to win, and if they do, it'll be last minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, these men-at-arms. They are just a blight.
Yeah, I think I think the combo of Chris and Jimmy right now is it's starting to warm up. So
yeah,
36, 30, and
warm up. They're
kills.
they're topping their scoreboard.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's there. I feel like this is a warm up. So I think this second round is really going to be, you know, where they shine, and that's really where Meta's going to have to try really hard to kind of break past that defense if they both go man-at-arms again.
I agree, absolutely. I know we're going to see Jimmy go man-at-arms. Crizzo might pick Van, potentially. I've seen him run that. But we'll see, obviously. For attacker, 2 man-at-arms isn't a horrible idea, but having a little bit more health does help. You know, given that both of these players, it seems that man-at-arms is their best class, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they both run.
Yeah.
Meta's doing a smart thing. They're really getting on C right now. Almost uncontested. Oh, very nice. This is probably...
right here.
Yeah, they're going to take that objective down. Wow, and nope, Waterboy is not going to get to finish it off, but Meta does have the numbers. I mean, Legion has the numbers, and they're going to stop them. So there are 3 peasants left with 3 minutes. This is an interesting predicament, actually. The door's down, but the peasants aren't all gone yet.
So you know what that means? Archer time.
That's what I'm hoping is coming out, but I'm not seeing it yet from Meta. I would like to see Flame flip to an Archer, because that would definitively kill at least 2 of the peasants outright.
Yeah.
The third, the one on the far left, that's a lot harder to get with an Archer if you're going around the gate. I mean the palisade. If you're going around the palisade, it's a bit more difficult. Oh, but they are running in, and they're getting it. Nope. Dang, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. That is going to be round. Very, very nice by Meta and Legion. Like, that was... It wasn't down to the wire, but that could have absolutely gone either way.
Yeah, that was pretty close. It's a great match.
Most definitely.
I think Spook will be joining.